Some of the supplies you'll need is some Rolex wire, electrical wire. Doing lighting, most likely need a 14 gauge. I'm using a 12-2. It's a bit of an overkill, but wire nuts to wire in your wires. Some staples for the overhung wire. Then we have the junction box. We're going to use 2 of them for 2 applications. We're going to do a storage basement. Need more light, and it's pretty dark in there. Now I do got this specialty tool. It's going to help me strip out the wire and the electrical. Other tools I'm using: screwdriver, industrial scissors, and then electrical. Actually, we'll shut this off. Is to find the voltage of which one's hot. I'm going to use that off of another junction. A light, bright. I'm going to turn off the power. Hammer. And then these are going to be very, very important to go inside the junction box. This is how I'm going to do it. There's a couple of knockouts. These tabs here, they goes to the electrical, goes inside the electrical junction here, like so. I'm just showing an example. Push it in. Okay. And once it's pushed in, I'm going to get one of these wire nuts. After you strip out the wire connection itself, tie it in with this. Then we're going to use these plastic pull downs. These are connected from here. And this is a 4-incher, but there is some other 3 1/4, I believe. You could drill this out, and it goes into one of these other holes. But after you get everything in here all set, obviously connect it in here, and then you put it in through here, put the bulb in, and you're back in business. Okay, let's get started. So this is what I'm working with. Now when I turn on the light, now this is what I'm working with. Dark. When I turn on the light, flip the switch, light. There's only one problem though. The light only goes to one section of the storage. I'm down in my room. I want to add more. I'm gonna add 2 more actually. So I have that one current. I'm gonna go off one of the wires, the hot wire, connect through here with the staples. Put it on the rafters itself. Keep going through, put one right here, and put another one over here. Do it right. Before we get started, the main power should be off, and I do have a light down here to help me out in the dark, so wish me luck. As I unscrew these, I'm going to take the light bulb off, and a screw just fell off, and we'll discover what's underneath the cover itself. One way I'm going to do it, I think this yellow one here is the main power, but we'll see with how it's tied in. The cover itself, and what's underneath it, obviously a lot of wires. And I did turn on the power itself. And with this electrical tool, we're gonna find out which one's hot and which one isn't. Most likely the black is hot, but if you do not know, I would not attempt this. Have a professional do it. Have somebody that knows what they're doing. It's not always for a regular first timer do-yourselfer. I've done a couple of these before, electrical fans, new wiring, but always be precaution. Okay, so I'm going to turn on electrical tester here. We're gonna get around this black one. See how it's ringing off. That one's hot. This one isn't. All the white wires is not. And just like I expected, this yellow cord here is the main power, and that's feeding off of 3 or 4. This is like 2 or 3 other wires on top of the junction box. So we'll go from there and tie in ours. I'm gonna take some of this off, turn the power back off, and start some wiring. So I went ahead and measured the length what I needed, and I needed 13 feet. I need 13 feet. So from where the electrical out socket is, I'm gonna add 2 more, so 6.5 feet. I'm gonna do a little bit more just for the slack and the wiring and whatnot. So I'm gonna do 7, maybe 7.5 feet. It's always more, this is a good tip, it's always more to have more electrical wire than less, because then you have to splice it and add more to it. Here I'm gonna cut 7.5 feet. What's up, Batman? Wanna help? Or do you want some ice cream? Gotta mention my cat does eat dairies, milk, eats cheese, meat. So I went ahead and put it through one of the slots in the junction box, electrical box. I have not tied it in yet. The reason I haven't tied it in yet is that I want to put up these staples in, these rafters, these boards up here, and see how far it goes this way. I'm assuming where my hand is, I'm gonna put the next box in. So that'll be next. I'll go and show you that. These are the plastic staples I'm using for the electrical wire. They're the plastic staples, and I'm going to use a hammer to push them in the wood, and they will stay in place. Please watch. gonna start. So now that we've established some staples onto the wood, it's time next to put in the junction right here, the box junction. So let's go and do that. Hopefully I can light it up and help you guys see better. So here I have a junction box. Sorry for the lighting, guys. It's kind of dark in here as it is, and I have just that flashlight. But as you can see, there is 2 nails on each end, and they do go against the wood here. So just depending how far down, I kind of want it like this, kind of flush to it, and make sure there's nothing else in the way, which there isn't. So I'll go and do that off camera, and it's kind of hard to do it with one hand holding something and the camera. So just go and hammer these nails in here and wire in that the wire itself. So here we go. So an update on you guys. I went ahead and installed the second one in junction box, and I went ahead and slipped in the wire in here. Meanwhile, so what I'm gonna do next is I'm going ahead and measure this one from that one before I connect it, just to make sure that I have enough to slack and all. And I think this is about 6.5 feet, so I'll be right back and cut it. I'm gonna cut our second length of the electrical here. Now that I got these wires in the junction box, see all the wire? I got lucky, those are already pre-drilled in there. So see, I'm gonna use some staples. Those are ready to go. I'm ready to install this part here. Get it wired back here. There's a nut on each one negative, one positive, and we're going to get that connected before we get the main one giving our power down this hallway. So stay tuned. Installation. And now the final product, after losing a lot of bolts and going up and down the stairs to shut off the power, we have lights. Check it out, check it out. One here, two, and then the original one. Yes, indeed. Took a little while, longer than expected, because I keep losing the bolts, but the screws for this part. Sorry, right here. But we found some smaller ones that actually fit better and not as tight. But check it out. Like, if you ever want to, like, oh, it's too much light, there's this pull cord back here. Pull it, shuts off. Meanwhile, the other ones are still on, which is a nice feature, you know, if you think it's too much light. But it's the reason I put these lights in here, because I need more light. I recommend this to anybody that's first timer, scared of electric, and don't know what they're doing. Always have a professional electrician come and connect it for you, and you know, make sure that's up to code and up to spec, and don't overdo it. Make sure there's no you know, anything dangerous in the way in your city or town that you're in. Allows this kind of stuff to, with permits and HOA, and with everything in the world going on right now, everything's controlled. So unless you're living out, you know, Midwest, where I'm from. But anyways, hope you guys like this video. Hope it encourages some of you guys to do maybe not this kind of project, but something similar, a solution to your problem.